Today, it's a big weekend, huge UFC event coming up. These guys are going to talk about that a little later on today at BTV Bets, but we've got two NBA games to discuss. If you remember, feels like these two teams haven't played in about a year. They played earlier in the week, and then they gave them a few days off because they wanted these two teams, I think, to be playing in the Saturday slates where they would have a bigger audience watching them. But Eric, it actually ends up working out, I think, for both of these teams. Maybe not in this particular game, but just in the long run, because these teams are banged up a little bit and are dealing with some injuries. So for Boston, it helps them with Smart. And for Milwaukee, it gives them an extra couple days for someone like Middleton to get more and more healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge for Boston. I mean, Smart could go to this. Middleton probably won't go to game 4 or game 5. So, I mean, but the extra days do help them with their injury concerns.
Yeah, we might have had multiple games in the same amount of days in other series. So they may have got the benefit of the doubt there. Kyle, let's get to you for this game. Boston, Milwaukee. So both of these series today that we're talking about, 1-1, heading home for Milwaukee. They win game 1 pretty handily. And then as expected, Boston punched them back in game 2, made some adjustments, and Boston played very, very well in game 2. Now game 3, Milwaukee is around a 3-point favorite or so total in this game, around 213. Any things that you're looking at jumping in here?
I'm looking at Milwaukee -1.5 right now, and I took it. I took it. Look, I think they punch back. I think all those things we talked about here. Yes, Boston was emotional and desperate, and they sort of, won game 2. We were sort of hoping that they would,
Yeah, it's down to 2 in most spots too. This was earlier in the week, so it's moved a little bit, right, Eric?
Yeah,
in the last couple days.
I think it opened up at 3 because there was hopes that Middleton would play, and then once it pretty much became common knowledge Middleton wasn't going to play, it's stripped down a little bit.
I think you see a super aggressive Giannis tonight. I love the Bucks -1.5. I think they get it done at home. I don't even mind if you can find alternate lines and juice this, get this, somewhere around. I would take it under 6. 6 is probably my cutoff. Two possessions, but I think Milwaukee gets it done at home. Too much size, all those things that we've talked about with Boston. Now you're going to have an aggressive Milwaukee taking advantage of sort of those discrepancies on the defensive end for Boston. I think you see an aggressive Giannis. I like him over 12.5 rebounds, -125 as well. Give him Bucks -1.5 and Giannis over 12.5 rebounds. 2 plays in this game.
He hasn't had a good game yet. I mean, shooting wise, like game 1, he controlled the game, but he shot 9 for 25 and scored 24 points. He shot 6 for 11 from the free throw line in that game.
Yeah.
Then he shot 11 for 27 for 28 points, and he shot 5 of 9 from the free throw line. There's a lot of points on the table out there that Giannis has been leaving. And just to remind everybody, last year in the NBA Finals, this guy had games of 41, 42, and 50 in the finals. Pretty amazing when you look back at that. You're like, wow, he did that in a series. I'm going Giannis. 2 plays that I looked at today. Giannis scores 30 and the Bucks win +190.
I like that.
That's Giannis over 39.5 points, assists +126. I think it's just a monster game today for Giannis. I really do. And the reason why I win assists is something that we've talked about a lot. Your role players just get that boost coming back home. Like Grayson Allen, Brook Lopez, some of those guys, they're going to have a little bit better games than they had in game 2. They're going to look a little bit better. And just the one thing, Grant Williams, got to give him all the credit in the world. He has been fantastic throughout the playoffs, throughout really the last couple months for the Celtics, hitting threes, playing good defense. He was chirping at Giannis a little bit in that game towards the end. And it's like, I don't know if I want to chirp at Giannis, if I was anyone, but especially if I was Grant Williams. I don't know, Eric, if you want to
Yeah, you don't want to poke the bear.
Right?
Would you add, going off what you just said, Bucks win, Giannis over 30 at +190? Is that what you said?
Yeah, +190.
What if you take, I'm looking at BetMGM right here, Giannis over 30, Jason Tatum 30 or more, and the Bucks win, you get 5-1.
See, that's
so
nice.
So all you're doing, you're getting 2.5 times a night, just putting Tatum to get to 30 points. So
absolutely, especially if you like Tatum and what his prospects are in scoring today. Like that's a nice one. Those are fun.
Yeah.
I got a feeling today, Eric is one of those. Remember, I'm the best player.
Yeah.
He just hasn't all of the his touch down around the basket has been a tad off. like fumbled a few balls or like ones that little layups that he maybe normally would have made, little jump hooks. They're just like off rim. I think this is just going to be a couple extra days for him too. He's going to be a little fresher. He's going to be ready to carry the load. How are you attacking this game?
I got 3 plays in the game. First play, I took the Bucks -1.5. Looking at shot quality, game 1 still graded. I believe it was a 4-point Bucks win. Game 2 shot quality actually graded as basically even.
Yeah.
Bucks got blitzed in the first 10 minutes of the game. Bud, in the first game, the Celtics got up 8-2. Bud took a timeout and kind of calmed everyone down. Bucks went on a run. Game 2, he didn't take a timeout till they're down like 15 points, which was like a little weird for me how he kind of let the game get out of hand at the beginning. Bucks actually outscored them in the second half, covered the second half spread. And when you just look about, like you said, Giannis didn't play good. The team didn't play good. Grant Williams had his absolute career playoff game. And the Celtics shot 20 for 43 from 3-point. They're not going to shoot 46% again from 3-point land. Those rims at Pfizer are a little bit harder compared to everyone else in the NBA. Also, rewatch game 2 and game 1. What the Celtics are doing is they're just having Tatum on Brook Lopez. People forget that Brook Lopez, when he came into the league from Stanford, he was a post-up presence, all-star at the Nets from down below. I think Bud's going to realize, hey, they're putting Tatum on him. We need to use Lopez down underneath. And the thing is that people forget is Lopez is actually bigger than Joel Embiid. He weighs more. They're the same size. He weighs more. They need to use Lopez down underneath. I think we're going to see more Lopez underneath, a little high-low with Giannis and Lopez. So I actually played Lopez over 9.5 points. And then, I got to fade.
Eric, you know what Brook Lopez needs to do? Just get down there, throw the hand up, and back that ass up. That's what he needs to do today, right?
Yeah.
Just back it in.
That's all he needs to do.
Use those hips and just back it up.
And then I also played Williams under 9.5. You kind of have to. I mean, coming off 21 points a career game, you have to play Williams under the 9.5. So those are my 3 plays for the game.
Couple plays there for Eric. Anything else you want to mention in game 1, Kyle?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. And I've got 1 play in game 2, honestly, and it's pretty simple and it's pretty basic. Ja's points total is boosted all the way up to 28.5 now. I mean, he's had 2 monster games, right? 34 and 47. But you're telling me his over-under now is basically 30? He needs to get 29 points. We've talked about this very, over and over with Ja. Ja can have a great game and have 22 and 10, 25 points in a really good game from him. They're going to focus a little bit more on making it difficult for Ja, and they're going to make Bane and the other guys beat him, especially with no Brooks, right? So I think you got to have Bane be the guy that beats you. I think Bane has a bigger game, and I'm going to go under Ja. I'm not playing a side because I do think the number feels a tad high to me. That's probably a couple points with Brooks built in, so that may be the case. But if I had to lean, I would lean Memphis because I do think Golden State probably ends up winning this series, but I think they're going to be in for a fight like every game, and they'll end up maybe wearing them down. Eric, let's start here with you on this one. Did you have any strong opinion? How are you attacking?
I got 2 plays. Play number 1, I went Andrew Wiggins over 1.5 threes at +130. I mean, he's a 39% shooter from 3. He's a 42% shooter from 3 at the Chase Center. He's had 12 threes in 2 games. He's getting open looks. He's just not hitting. I expect him to be able to go over that. Play number 2, I took Memphis plus a 7.5. I mean, just looking at Memphis is 63% against the spread on the road, 64% against the spread every game, 65% against the spread as a dog. And when they're on the road as a dog, they're 58%. They're a covering machine. People forget, they look at Morant and Bane, and this is an offensive juggernaut team. This team is the 3rd best defensive rating in the playoffs, holding teams to 36% from beyond the arc. But the Warriors, they're only shooting 28%. If the Warriors' threes aren't falling, that really kind of limits what they can do offensively. And also with no Payton.
The thing about the Warriors, what makes them awesome and incredible when they're rolling, but they don't have a big. They don't have a post presence.
Because they have Green up top, and Green's kind of the facilitator, getting everyone in the position. No Peyton, which is going to hurt because they really don't have anyone that can guard Morant.
Yep.
Jordan Poole, like when you have Poole, Clay, and Curry on there, who's going to guard Morant?
We saw
Poole try
to chase him around, and he was on skates.
Yeah, he looked like a lost puppy. So I took the Warriors plus the 7.5, and then Wiggins over 1.5 threes.
Like that, Kyle. Game 2 today, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Warriors Grizz. How you attacking this one?
And before y'all, you comment, Eric meant the Grizzlies plus 7.5, not the Warriors. So before they all, everyone likes to get it incorrected. So I'm just eliminating the annoying internet person here. Just get the hell out of here. It's Saturday. We don't need your bullshit. All right, go have a drink, smoke a bowl, and calm the fuck down. Hard to take a side here. Look, I agree. I would lean Memphis here. Too many points. Completely agree. And you see, Memphis has a way to, even if they're down big, they've been doing it the entire playoffs. They did it to Minnesota. It seems like every game. They've done it to Golden State where they sort of close the gap here, right? And
because they don't stop. They don't quit off.
That's
while they'll do some stupid stuff and like make some mistakes, and maybe they're not like the smoothest basketball team, they just don't stop. They'll bring 12 guys off the bench that are all like legitimate NBA players. You're like, who the hell is this guy? They keep bringing him in, and then they're like really, really deep.
John Conchar comes in and just starts draining.
Melton is legit. Melton. You're like, Williams? Who is this? You start looking around. They're really, really deep. Brandon Clark is excellent. They've got a deep bench of hell. How many of these guys would I have liked on the Lakers this year?
God, every single one of them.
So they're a team that if they're Memphis is one of those teams, like we saw, I think with Minnesota, is that they're a team that I love them in the role like this as the dog. This is where they're comfortable as like the underdog that's feisty and that's going to try to play you all the way to the wire. For them being the favorite, that's a little bit of a different role. It's different when there are expectations and you're the one doing the chasing or you're the one being chased. That is when everything starts to change. So, Kyle.
So I have a couple plays in the game, but I'm just not going to. I'm going to lean Memphis, but I don't want to get caught by one of these. You guys mentioned it. Golden State just gets on fire, and Steph and Clay hit 6 threes apiece, and you're just like, holy shit! Golden State came out here and blitzed them because that's Memphis is not blowing out Golden State right at home. But Golden State could theoretically blow out Memphis if they get hot from the 3-point line. So I stayed away from a side. You mentioned it. No Dillon Brooks. Desmond Bane's points, 17.5, minus 110. I took the over. No Dillon Brooks. They're probably going to have to double jaw, it looks like, because without Gary Payton there to defend him, it's really difficult. And you saw him absolutely go off. I think you see a lot of open looks for Desmond Bane today. He's going to have more shots, obviously. No Dillon Brooks. So Desmond Bane over 17.5, minus 110. Mentioned Gary Payton being out. I like Jordan Poole's threes over 2.5 plus 100. He's done it 4 of 7 playoff games. Every time he's attempted more than 5 threes, he's made at least 5 threes, which is very interesting. I think he has more attempts today without Gary Payton. Extra minutes at home. I'll take Jordan Poole over 2.5 threes plus 100.
Kyle, Eric, myself will be here with you any day that there's an NBA playoff game at Better Than Vegas at BTV Bets with our free game previews, analysis. We'll tell you the plays and the props that we have. And you guys are going to be talking a little UFC later on, previewing UFC Saturday for today. So we'll have a little bit more UFC action coming for fans there and more ways that you can make some money. Everything's free at BTV. We want to help you become a better. Kyle, any last words before we get out of here?
I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby. Good luck to you guys on the Kentucky Derby today.
Oh, there we go. That reminds me. I'll give everybody a play, too, since it's Derby Day, too. I bet Mo Donegal, the number 1, myself. People get really, really crazy about the horses that draw the rail. But with his particular running style, I don't think it's going to bother him all that much. He's not a horse who wants to go right out front. So he should be able to kind of drop back, save ground inside. He's drawn the inside 3 of the last 4 times. He's kind of quietly under the radar coming into this race, too. I think he should be the 3rd choice, and he'll probably be a little bit higher than that. I like Zandon, Smile Happy, Simplification as sort of other horses I'm using underneath. The 2 wild cards I thought were Messier and Taiba, the SoCal horses. I would have no problem using either one of them. So little Derby action for you coming up later. Glad you reminded me of that. Kyle,
yeah, it's a good weekend of sports, man. It's a good weekend of sports. Everyone enjoy it.
Exactly. I'm sure you got, Eric, you got some basketball today, some UFC, some horse racing. Is there anything else that's on your plate that you're playing?
I got some USFL. I got some NHL hockey. I got a lot of stuff going.
I was going to say there are a lot of stuff going on. Make sure to give these guys a follow on social media. We'll be helping you out anytime there's major sports, we'll try to do our best to share any knowledge, any information, any insight that we have with all of you. Fellas, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you boys tomorrow, Sunday. We got the next 2 games coming back tomorrow. We'll be here with you noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time on BT.